a few of these might actually infuriate you because I know they infuriated the hell out of me. Hey kids, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome to my channel. My name is Amanda. Today I'm going to be talking about human trafficking. I'm going to be sharing some films, documentaries, TV shows that have featured human trafficking. Since I'm going to be listing more than one film, I'm probably not going to go into in-depth reviews. I am going to give an overview of the films. But if there is a film that you would like to hear more about, please let me know in the comments below. I will totally make a standalone video for that specific film or for the TV show I am going to be naming. Also, if you know of any other films or TV shows that have covered this subject matter, please feel free to leave those in the comments down below as well. I just think it's super important to learn as much as you can about the realities of human sex trafficking so that you can better equip yourself to not only help, but speak about it. So the first film I'm going to talk about is actually one that I saw a long time ago. It was many years ago. I don't remember which year or how long ago, but it's called Human Trafficking. I want to say it was a miniseries, but it was a miniseries featured on Lifetime. It doesn't say. Well, that's where I saw it. I saw it on Lifetime. It's freaking fantastic. Mira Sorvino, Donald Sutherland, who are two amazing actors. So this film actually follows this ICE agent played by Mira Sorvino, who is part of this sub-team of ICE. And she is going after one specific kingpin of sex trafficking when four women and children go missing. It's a really great film. Mira Sorvino's character, Kate Morozoff, has firsthand experience with the horrors of sexual exploitation, so she takes it very personally, and she just makes it her mission to find this guy who has been taking all of these women and children. It's a really great film. It's rather long. It's 180 minutes. Yeah, it's 180 minutes. I also just saw the year 2007. But it's fantastic. Really great. Definitely worth the watch. Donald Sutherland is brilliant as always, and Mira Sorvino is a gem. And she is actually, Mira Sorvino is very passionate about advocating for human sex trafficking. She's been part of any number of charities and organizations that help survivors of human sex trafficking. So definitely check this movie out. Check out Mira Sorvino. She's done some really great work, and this film is absolutely amazing. And just a really great depiction of the realities of human sex trafficking. I mean, it's from how these women and children are taken to where they are taken to, I mean, the severe consequences that they risk when they come forward. It's absolutely fantastic. The next medium that has featured the realities of human sex trafficking is none other than Law & Order SVU. For those of you that have never seen the show, it has been on for the last 19 years. They've done several episodes covering the realities of human trafficking. I want to talk about two in particular because they were the most epic episodes, and both of them were actually done in 2-episode arcs. So the first one I want to talk about was the finale of season 13 and the opener of season 14, when Captain Cragen is accused of murder. It starts off as a very kind of run-of-the-mill case where a girl is found dead at a party, a very elite, exclusive party. I think it was the police commissioner's son's bachelor party. And then it kind of leads them into this feud between two sex traffickers at each other. And it puts the SVU team right in the middle of that. It was really well written. I mean, just wonderful web of intrigue and suspense and twists and turns. Having said that, I want to give a shout out to Warren Leight, even though he will probably never see this in his life. Regardless, shout out to Warren Leight, who was the showrunner at the time. That was his first season out of the gate, and I mean, what balls on that guy to pin a murder on Cragen his first season out of the gate and just end the season like that. Oh, I can't right now. If you've never seen the show SVU, even though it's 13 years in, I highly recommend that you give that episode a watch. Again, it is the season finale of season 13, and then the story continues and is ultimately resolved in the first episode of season 14. You can find all of those on Hulu. Fantastic. And that specific arc really brought to light just how high up the corruption can go with regard to human sex trafficking. Oftentimes, more often than not actually, it's very, very difficult to prosecute human trafficking cases, not just because the perpetrators are extremely smart. They are caught up with modern technology, whereas the law is not. But also because there are John's customers that are fairly high up and don't want to be caught in the crossfires when a certain trafficker goes down. I can't think of any real life examples at the moment. I'm sure those of you that know anything about human sex trafficking, I'm sure you might be able to think of some off the top of your head. Law & Order SVU is actually a procedural, and it's very often ripped from the headlines, so I wouldn't be surprised if that particular episode arc was ripped from the headlines. But yeah, it just really brings to light the level in which these sex traffickers operate, and the fact that, some of them have senators, mayors, congressmen, DAs, judges, policemen, on their client list. And that's just scary to me. The next episode arc that I want to talk about is actually, I want to say, a 6-episode arc, but it's broken up into pairs. Particularly, I want to talk about Mother Undercover. I am trying to remember the season that's in. I want to say that was season 15 or 16. But I want to talk about that particular arc because it really highlights the biggest day of the year for sex trafficking activity, which is Super Bowl Sunday. That is a huge, huge day for the sex trafficking industry because of all the parties, the high-end clientele. So that is one of the biggest days of the year. It's kind of akin to Mother's Day for a restaurant. It's the busiest day of the year for sex trafficking is Super Bowl Sunday. The first episode of this particular arc features the squad going undercover at a Super Bowl Sunday party in order to find this one girl that her mother has been undercover for years trying to find. So they're trying to find this one girl, and they stumble upon this huge ring. Once again, that storyline was written by Warren Leight. Warren Leight was a beast. The next two I want to talk about is actually 2 documentaries that I watched yesterday. They're both on Netflix. I encourage all of you to check them out. The first one is called Tricked, and this one follows, I think it's 4 or 5 young ladies who run away from home and fall under the control of a pimp. And it's just very eye-opening, to see that they interview not only the women themselves, they interview former sex workers, they interview former pimps, they interview current pimps. I actually think they interview two Johns, one that volunteered to be interviewed for the documentary, which I don't get that. But I mean, good for him, but I don't get that. And then the second one is actually one that was arrested while they were filming the documentary. They were doing an undercover sting, and this gentleman was arrested, and they were able to ask him a couple of questions. Anyway, it was really, really insightful. I especially encourage young girls to watch this documentary because it just really opens your eyes to the fact that, the people that you meet, not all of them are well-intended. It's really important that you listen to your gut and that you follow the warning signs because, it can happen like that to anyone. And lastly, I want to talk about another documentary I saw yesterday, which absolutely infuriated me to no end. It's called I Am Jane Doe. I don't even know where to begin with this. Okay, so it follows 4 young ladies. I believe it's 4 young ladies and their families these young ladies have escaped, and I'm talking like 14, 15 years old. They have escaped somehow the sex trafficking ring that they were enslaved in, and basically they find out that their pimps were putting ads on a website called Backpage.com, which used to be owned by the Village Voice. The Village Voice is one of the oldest newspapers in New York. It's a widely known paper, and it's most infamous for getting the scoop on things that people should know. In other words, crooked politicians, just things like that, things that people would need to hear about. And, the irony is that this whole situation is probably an article that the Village Voice would have written. But anyway, so Backpage.com used to be owned by the Village Voice. It no longer is. But in the personal ads, they were advertising and offering sex with children. And it was basically these 4 families going after Backpage.com as accomplices to human sex trafficking and facilitators of rape. The reason it infuriated me was because no matter what these people did, their best efforts, they are still fighting to this day, by the way. And this documentary takes place over the course of, I want to say, 5 or 6 years. And it's updated up to last year, 2017. But Backpage.com was essentially hiding behind the First Amendment and a subsection of the Constitution, which basically says that a third party or a website or a company is not liable for the wrongdoings of a third party. Initially, that was made to protect the internet. But in this case, where they are clearly facilitating criminal activity, I mean, I don't even know if I can talk about this and keep my words straight so that you can even understand them, because it literally infuriated me so much. These people are complicit. Backpage.com, by the way, it is still operational. While I was watching the documentary yesterday, I got curious and I said, you know what, I want to see if this website is even still up. It is still operational. And they are instructing the terms of service when someone goes to place an ad. They covered this in the documentary. I didn't try to place an ad. They covered this in the documentary itself. But the terms of service and the terms of your ad postage includes basically a how to not get caught, how to not get flagged, because they put moderators in place. The company did. They put moderators in place to watch out for certain keywords. They're now using emojis. They're using code to post these ads. So yeah, I got curious and I wanted to see if this website was still operational. It is still in operation, and literally almost every single post that I saw had emojis in the title. And I think it's absolutely disgusting that these people are using the First Amendment to excuse themselves from facilitating human trafficking. At first, these young women and their amazing team of lawyers were trying to get the personal ads of the website section, the adult section, shut down completely, and they just haven't been able to do it. They have not been able to do it. Mind you, it's been 5 or 6 years. The owners and the CEO have all been arrested repeatedly, released. The cases have been dismissed. I mean, it's so infuriating, so infuriating. Their lawyer, Eric Bauer, is determined not to stop. The cameraman asked him, how long are you going to keep this going? How long can you keep this going? And he said, as long as it takes. I'll sell the furniture if I have to. But these girls deserve peace of mind, and we need to protect other girls from being taken and other children from being taken. So while very incredibly frustrating and infuriating, this documentary was so well done, so put together. And it just really, it really gives you a really good insight as to how difficult it is to, prosecute these cases, not just prosecute them, but how difficult it is to get websites like this taken down so that no other victims exist in the first place. A lot of, officials and things like that will tell you that with regard to child pornography websites or sex trafficking websites, it's very difficult. It's almost like playing whack-a-mole because you take one down and 5 more pop up. And I truly believe that part of the problem is that the system is so broken. Our judicial system is just so broken. The law needs updating. We need to bring the law into modern day. We need to update it because the criminals are already utilizing and updated on modern technology, and meanwhile our laws are stuck in the 20th century or something, 21st century, whatever. But we need to update our laws to reflect our current climate. We do. That's part of the problem. The other part of the problem is that there, I'm sure, is corruption, that exists, and I don't even know how to go about fighting that. But we need to figure out a way to do it. We have to. There's just no excuse. There really is no excuse. These are children we're talking about. This is the future of our world we're talking about, and we're allowing these monsters to turn them inside out and just completely eradicate pieces of their soul, and it's disgusting, frankly. It really is. It really is. And that's all I got for you today, kids. Just to share some numbers with you, just to give you an idea of how big, how huge this problem is. At least 20.9 million adults and children are bought and sold worldwide into commercial sexual servitude, forced labor, bonded labor. About 2 million children are exploited every year in the global commercial sex trade. And women and girls make up about 96% of victims of trafficking and sexual exploitation. It is a serious problem, and unfortunately, really the only thing that we can do as of right now is to raise awareness and talk about it. Again, because these cases are so difficult to prosecute. In fact, I would venture to assume that the priority is almost always getting these victims out of the ring, getting them out safely, getting them back to their families, and prosecuting the sex trade, kingpins, prosecuting the pimps, if you will, comes secondary to getting these girls out. But even then, it can be very, very difficult. These pimps, they are manipulative, and they don't just go after, girls or children that are in broken homes. They don't just go after, children who are lacking in some areas of their life. They go after normal families. They go after, girls from good families, children from good homes. They're very manipulative. They're very seductive. And, they give these children this false ideology of what their life could be like. And then the nightmare begins. And it doesn't always happen that way. Sometimes these children are just straight up abducted. There are literally so many methods for these pimps to recruit. And it needs to stop. We need to not only raise awareness, but we need to educate our parents. We need to educate ourselves to really just be alert and protect ourselves, protect our children, because it can literally happen to anybody, and it can happen like that. So that's all I got for you today, kids. Please check out these projects. I Am Jane Doe and Trafficked are both on Netflix. I don't know if Human Trafficking, this one, I don't know if it's on Netflix. I don't even remember where I got this DVD. I want to say that I bought it probably at like Target, but I'm not 100% sure. I'm sure you can find it on the internet though, probably. So, you know, definitely check it out. Check out those episodes of Law and Order SVU. If you go to humansextraffickinghotline.org/states, then you can actually go by your state. You can find your state in the resources tab. You can find your state and check out your city to check out the sex trafficking statistics to your particular state. It literally happens every single day. And it happens everywhere. Go ahead and check out that website. I'm gonna leave also the love146.org and the handofhope.org down below in the description bar. I'll also leave the sextraffickinghotline.org link down in the description bar for you guys to check it out. I don't think I'm gonna do my usual outro. Social media is down below. Just because, you know, this is a very serious topic, and I don't really want to gloss over it with my usual outro. Still, I will say thank you so very much for watching. Please educate yourselves. Please educate yourselves on human trafficking and talk about it. Talk to your friends about it. Talk to, you know, your neighbors. Just talk to people about it. Educate yourselves as parents, as people in general, women, men alike. Everyone, just educate yourself on the subject matter, because it is a serious problem. This is a $3 billion industry. This is no joke. This industry is doing better than Google, than Facebook, than, you know, YouTube. I mean, it is a huge epidemic. So definitely educate yourselves and educate your kids. Stranger danger, I mean, has never been more important. Thank you again so much for watching, and I will see you next time.